the peace talks. Is it still warm?
Here, give me that one.
Now, I said when I was invited to that dinner by former General Abelino Rason, the head of the OPA. Thank you. Okay. I said this. The one thing that I don't like is to be associated with cause of the overthrow of this regime. Because I know very well, in my heart of heart, I have this feeling that people are still plotting to unseat this government. That's just my feeling. And I hope it's not true. But I don't like to associate myself with a kind of change that will, throw this whole nation into another turmoil. You see, just like the case of Corazon Aquino. After I signed agreement with her to launch the peace talks, somebody, I don't have to mention, but he is still in high position in the government now, sent words to me asking for my support to overthrow Corazon Aquino. He said, if you help me in this, I'll give you the assurance that you can get the autonomy, the 13 provinces, without referendum whatsoever. And I'd like to assure you that at least 90% of the armed forces are behind us, behind our. So I sent words. To Jain Jolly, the chairman of our parliament.
Yeah.
He was my religious advisor then. And at that time, Corazon Aquino was already staying inside the tank. Her brother-in-law, Butch Aquino, and Norberto Gonzalez had gone to my place in Holo to ask for my help to prevent this thing from happening. When they reached, they told me, when they reached Zamboanga, and after being informed that the lady had already stayed in the tanks for her safety, they asked her, should we return back? Butch Aquino told the lady, should we return back, madam? Said, no, continue. It was a desperate mission. So they reached my place. There was this man named Ruben Canoy, who later on organized the Mindanao Independence Movement, and along with a certain colonel in the armed forces, forgot the name of that colonel, it's a tall guy, they took hold of the 4th Infantry Division in Cagayan de Oro, militarily. But later on, they folded up. They gave up their, the camp after they succumbed to the persuasive influence of Pimentel, now Senator Pimentel, is quite the one. But he was there when they arrived. And I heard them say, this man was challenging Butch Aquino to a debate. Let's go over the TV and have a debate. This man is a very outspoken man. He was the information minister of Marcos before, or at least deputy minister like that. But he was very prominent during Denmark. I wanted independence of Mindanao. He's a Christian. So I asked Butch Aquino, why did you come? What for? Said, if I remember right, Cory now is on the brink of the precipice. Just a little push, she will fall. I said, who is doing this? He named names. I will not name because he might be antagonized. But earlier he had sent the head, the head of my office, of our MNLF office in Islamabad. His name Bogdadi, sent to me offering, you will get the autonomous government without referendum once I come to power, provided you will help me, allow me to take over. Instead, I issued a statement over the TV. If anyone will overthrow this government, I will declare war on the new government. You see, I think that's was very, very crucial in preventing the coup d'etat, because nobody was willing to challenge the MNLF after we signed the agreement with, because we literally controlled the whole of Mindanao at the time. You see, but because of our faith in the, in the sincerity of Corazon Aquino, I went through with the peace process and like that, and after I signed the agreement in April in 1987 in Jeddah, known as the Jeddah Peace Accord, they forgot all about it. They did not care to implement this. So I was again betrayed after helping them come to power and protecting them to stay in power, stay on in power.
What are the biggest challenges right now for peace in Mindanao? Especially
well, actually, the biggest challenge, I gave some clues to this. In our closed door meetings, and then later on in the plenary meeting, and in that dinner, I alluded earlier, the dinner offered by Rason, I gave some clues to the biggest dilemma we face. When we fought in 1973, we lost about more or less 700 of our people. Over 200 were full-blooded MNLF warriors, fighters. Nearly 500 or more were civilians. According to my information, most of them fell into the hands of, both the Christian movements, immigrant movements, and also some Highlanders who were in alliance with them. That's why when the moment I came to power in Mindanao, after the signing of the 1996 agreement, I became governor of the arm, and then of course I won in an election. I got 95 to 98% of the votes because I was the only one who ran. Nobody wanted to challenge me. So I got 95 to 98% according to Comelec, Mr. Borja, who has already retired some months ago. Got like that. So what happened was I issued this statement about my fear, my anxiety. I said, if all what we can do now is to address the problem of the Muslims, well, it might be good. Why not? It's a working and healthy sign. But the problem is we have this Highlander community to control the vast areas in the mountains and the hills and so on and so forth. And we have also our brothers and sisters from Luzon and the Visayas who have now learned to love Mindanao. We cannot push them out from here. You see? Now, if we end up in a peace process addressing only the parochial interests of the Muslims, we might end up creating the siege, planting the siege of hostilities and antagonism among us. Because jealousy, why not, will start sprouting here and mushrooming here and there, because the The arm will be given, the autonomous region will be given the highest priority in the development program. Investors will come. Assistance will come from all over. And what will happen? They will just keep their hands folded up like that and say and complain to themselves. Why did they not, or to us probably, why did they not include us in this so we could partake in the dividends of peace? Why not? So I'm afraid this could be exploited by some enterprising elements to create trouble among us and cause the failure of our peace in Mindanao, in the areas of the Muslim autonomy, Bangsamoro autonomy. So I proposed to them, openly proposed to them. I said, I don't like any civil war in our homeland. I don't like any bloodshed. I want peace for my people, not only the Muslims, but including the Highlanders. After all, we came from the same, as the Datus were saying in my speech. They supplied me with the names. You see, Tabunawan and another brother, we came from the same. At least our people in the mainland of Mindanao, they came from the same, from two brothers. One brother went to the mountains, he refused to become Muslim, and the other one joined Islam, and the two fought. They fought, the two brothers fought. On several occasions they fought until the younger brother was overcome, I understand, by the elder one who refused to become Muslim. That's all. But we came from the same blood origin with them. So we cannot turn our back to them. Yeah. And the Christians have learned already to become, to be faithful to the paramount interests of Mindanao. And I don't think it is human to send them back to their land. I said, welcome, stay with us here. Mindanao is a wide space for everyone. But, you see, let us promote unity and solidarity and brotherhood among us. That is my campaign now. What I want is peace. This is the bottom line. Unity and solidarity to be cemented by the spirit of unity and solidarity and brotherhood. No quarrel. I don't like any quarrel anymore among Muslims and Highlanders and Christians like that. I want brotherhood, unity, solidarity, support, and so on and so forth. This is all what I want. But this is our biggest dilemma. I only hope that they can understand. But the OIC, I think, has seen the light. From what I have said, they said, yes, there's a problem. So we will try to address the problem of the whole. But how can you have address the problem of the whole when you create an autonomy specific only for the Muslims or for the Bangsamoro, the Bangsamoro Muslim community? You see, while the Bangsamoro Highlanders and the Bangsamoro Christians are not included in the dividend of peace. This is the biggest problem I can see.
Mr. You mentioned the role of the OIC. Could you tell me what the most constructive role of outside actors are? Like, let's say the U.S., the OIC, countries in the region. What's a constructive role for these other countries that, if they want to get involved? They've all been involved. Maybe you could highlight what they've done well, where they could have done better, and maybe where other countries might play a more constructive role going forward.
To get involved?
If you maybe look at the OIC, maybe look at the United States, maybe some countries in the region, where they've helped or not helped in the past, and how they might be a bigger part of better resolution of the problem going forward.
Well, of course, the OIC is there. It's given. The OIC wants to help. No problem about that. Even the World Bank. At one time, I was invited to Paris, to the headquarters there, and they pledged to me something like $532 million for infrastructure, for development. 532 million US dollars, 532 million US dollars at the time was equivalent to about close to 30 billion pesos. And that was earmarked for the mini Marshall Plan of Reconstruction and Development. So I went. Earlier, the most senior advisor to the World Bank in Paris was sent to Manila, and he sought a meeting with me along with the Secretary of Finance, the Ocampo, Secretary de Ocampo. He was a very nice and very friendly person. Now I understand he now heads the AIM. I don't know what AIM stands for.
Asian Institute for Management?
Huh?
Is that the Asian Institute for Management? Perhaps?
Yes, like that, the one in Makati. So he's a very nice person, and he called me to his office at the Ministry of Finance and then Department of Finance. There, introduced me to that person. So I asked him, since he was a Muslim, I said, Your Excellency, why did you come to our country? What message do you have for us? He said, I came here to help you. Oh, I said, is that so? In what capacity? I said, he said, I'm the most senior advisor to the World Bank. Is that correct? World Bank? Yeah, the World Bank. So, with their headquarters in Paris. Oh, sorry. So I said, how do you intend to go about this? He said, tomorrow we will fly to General Santos. The pledgers will be there. From Germany, from London, from Japan, America, all over. So I said, okay, I'll fly there myself. After I spoke, somebody said, I would like to propose, he said, that instead of making pledges here, why not we return back to Paris? Invite the governor, we'll ask him to give us another speech there. So that's exactly what happened. They gave me the timetable for me to be in Paris, so I went with a number of people. And what happened was, they asked Mr. Binay, the residents, not Binay the mayor, no, another Binay, it is a namesake, to speak, to give them the problems, etc. And then Secretary of Finance, De Ocampo, was asked to speak. Then I was the third one. Then I gave them the rundown about the situation in Mindanao and the need for reconstruction, etc. I said, Mindanao, especially the areas of the Bangsamoro Muslim communities, is a war-torn area. So we must be reconstructed quickly before people will become desperate and, will play into the hands of some enterprising elements. I was afraid of these extremist elements. I said, if you will not be quick enough to help us out, if I remember right saying that, we might be back in square one, because there's no money we can expect from the Philippine government. And so they said, okay, after I spoke, can you leave for 10 minutes? And then we come and we'll ask you back to the room. After 10 minutes, they asked me to return back to my seat, and there somebody stood up and brought one sheet of paper like that. It was a press release to the world media in Paris. They said, we have decided, after consultation among ourselves, to pledge 532 million US dollars. 12 million should be earmarked for the UNDP, United Nations Development Program. So I thanked them, and then I left. And with the understanding that we could now tap these resources for development program, for poverty alleviation, for livelihood projects, etc., etc., etc. When I returned back, the first thing I did was to call a meeting of my cabinet in the arm and give instruction to our cabinet members and all the technical people to prepare the projects. You must utilize this quickly, I said, because after this maybe we can expect additional funding from the world community. They prepared. Then I went to Makati. I came here to Makati. This is Makati, no? We are in Makati right now. Went to the office of Mr. Binay. He received me there. He said, "What can we do, Governor?" I said, "I came here just to inform you that our technical people already have prepared project after projects for the utilization of the 520 million US dollars pledged to us by the World Bank in your presence." He looked at me like that. Oh. And then shook his head. "I'm very sorry to inform you. The money has been siphoned off to the project in Leyte. Over 200 millions have been siphoned off to that project to lay a cable between Leyte and Mindanao." I touched my forehead like this. How come? I said, I did not go to Paris to ask for money for them. I asked money for the improvement of the life of my people here, because just to make up for the consequences of the war. But why? And what about the other amount? 200 million was promised to 2 provinces. Can you name the province? No, sir, I cannot. 200 plus 200. Over 200 for Leyte, 200 for. So I said, calculate, maybe it's still about 100 million there. So what about the remaining money? Oh, it's still being programmed to be used by for other projects, but not in the army. I stood up. And anyhow, this kind of hanky-panky business. That's why I was giving them some kind of an admonition. Please don't repeat this. Don't repeat this. Even the World Bank is collaborating with this, people in trying to make use of us. The World Bank. They better be ashamed of themselves. You see? I was so peeved over this. I was so. Then I told my people, I said, I'm very sorry, we cannot expect 1 cent from the World Bank. Like that. That is our predicament. And now they have proposed this development funds. And I do hope that they will not place this in the hands of the Philippine National Agency. Otherwise, if they do, then we might, we might face some financial obstacles again.
If you had any regrets about the way things, this span of history that you've been so intimately involved in this struggle, if you could have changed anything, what might it be? Was there a lost opportunity that you can recall?
Well, honestly, Professor, the most source of regret to me was the passage of that Kuala Lumpur resolution by the OIC. Because that overturned everything. While we were already in the path of winning the war, because of that passage, it caused disintegration among us.
And when was that?
That, sure. In 1974, in July, the one I mentioned in my speech, they asked us to resolve the problem on the basis of autonomy. Although they did not spell out the word autonomy there, but it amounted to that. I could not say no to them, except what I said was, this is like putting a ball of hot iron down my throat. When the resolution was brought to the safe house in Kuala Lumpur to me, they did not allow me to address them. So I said, this will only prolong the agony of poor people, because this will not solve the problem. In those days, I used to toy with the idea that autonomy can never resolve, can never be the, the panacea to our problem in Mindanao. No, because of I advocated the idea that the problem must be solved in accordance with its very own nature. And if I know it right, I said, because I used to teach ideologies and revolutions in the University of the Philippines. I was the one teaching. There was nobody else. In the university, in the Department of Political Science Department, in the Institute of Studies, I was the one who was handling this course. Revolution even in Europe in the previous centuries. Oh, see, I was quite familiar with the names of Bakunin, the names of Trotsky, and the names of all of these radical elements in Europe. See it now. Anyway, and also with other places in the world. And so I thought that colonial rule or colonialism can be uprooted only through the very solution advocated by successful revolutionary movements in Asia, Africa, Latin America, and so on and so forth. If we prescribe another kind of solution, so I thought then we might end up, curing only the symptom, but create so much side effects. In the end, that side effects will cause the death of. You see? So, I don't know now, but of course, I'm ready to, in my case, as the leader of the Moro National Liberation Front, of course, it's my responsibility to lead my people in a correct way, in the right direction. But what can we do? This is all what the situation demands, settle for something less. Because if we really want to solve this problem, I think the best way is to uproot colonialism in our homeland. I told them not necessarily to cause our separation from the Philippines, but at least I don't like any signs of colonial rule in our homeland. We should have an egalitarian democratic system. You see, we must be treated as the equal of anyone in Luzon and the Visayas. But if you collect all the taxes and then siphon it off to the improvement of the lives of the people of Luzon and the Visayas, to the detriment of our people there in Mindanao, that is not egalitarianism. There's no equity, there is no justice there. If you, I said, imagine if you indulge in all these kind of injustices and etc., you will only sowing the seeds of disenchantment, and this might end up in another, I'm afraid, and Allah forbid, might create another turmoil in our homeland. So, I think that is the last.
I think we're out of tape. Okay.
Is that the last question?
I think that was great, Mr. Chairman. That was the whole history from someone no one else could tell it like you did.